if you participate in Hacktoberfest. Now,
Hey, I'm
what
really
exactly? Yeah, go for it.
Ashwin, I'm really sorry. We have not started yet.
Oh no, it's live. I can see it.
Uh, is it live now?
Oh yeah, it is live. It is live, and I'm pretty sure our audience can see us.
I'm really sorry for that. Go ahead and continue. I'm really sorry for that.
Oh boy. So yeah, I mean, so where was I? By participating in Hacktoberfest, right? Now, these are the things that you wanna keep in mind, and if you are coming with that point of view, you're in the right place. Hacktoberfest can help a lot of beginners in tech or newbies or those who are not in tech get that first step, or get started with open source contribution, or what it even means to answer that question. What exactly is Hacktoberfest in the first place? Well, it is a place to learn, connect, and contribute with open source projects, maintainers. It's an annual event hosted by DigitalOcean, one of the largest open source events that I've ever seen, considered like a celebration of open source. And this event, which goes a month long, it comes after the name of October, and you see Hacktoberfest is in this entire month, you make contributions to open source and you get rewarded either with a swag or recognition or some goodies or something like that. It changes every year. This year we have different kind of reward. I'm going to talk about that later. But what I want to focus here is Hacktoberfest is a celebration of open source. So if you are looking for an excuse or a way to get started with open source contributions, or hearing all this buzzword and can't really get it, this month right now is a really good place for you to get started with that buzz or kickstart your journey in open source. And how it helps, that's we can totally answer that later. But let me jump outside the slides quickly. And if I go to hacktoberfest.com, you can go right here, hacktoberfest.com. This is the website that you see. It's their 10th year. The Hacktoberfest has been running for 10 straight years now, and you can see the registrations are open right here. And if I scroll down, I get a lot of information here, and I don't have the time because, oh my god, there's so many. It's just too much. It's just so many events and workshops happening here. So let's just take it slow, and I'm going to break down how you can navigate the website and understand what Hacktoberfest means. Obviously, we can go register here or click on start hacking to participate in it. But first, let's figure out who exactly Hacktoberfest event is for. Like, is it for me is the most commonly asked question that students come and ask, like, hey, I don't know any languages, or I don't know programming, and do you think I can participate in Hacktoberfest? I don't feel qualified. Yeah, right? Well, I want to say it's for everyone. From a beginner who does not know GitHub or GitLab, or never made a pull request, to a contributor who has done some contributions maybe to their own project or someone else's, or to a maintainer who has created an open source project, maintains them actively, and want contributors and beginners to contribute to them. So Hacktoberfest event, is for everyone. You will fit in one of the three places. You can never be like none of these. So if you're a beginner, you're in the right place. And so if you're a maintainer and contributor. Now, to get all of that, once again, we'll go back to hacktoberfest.com and see how the process works of participating in the event. So I'm here. I got a couple of stuff here. I see participation, events, donate, and then let's go to participation. And because I want to participate in Hacktoberfest, and I can see a couple of, if I scroll down a little bit, I can see the same stuff that I was talking about, that it is for everyone. And this year Hacktoberfest wants to specifically focus on the quality of contributions rather than quantity. What is a contribution? I'll talk about that, but first I'm just gonna scroll down and understand the gist of how do I participate and stuff. But this is the important part. This is the how do you participate in Hacktoberfest. It's a month-long event. Participate anytime between September 26th to October 31st, so end of this month. And how do I participate? I have to create something called a pull request on GitHub or GitLab with to the projects that are participating in Hacktoberfest. So GitHub and GitLab are popular cloud-based repository system. So it's like you can store your code there. You can see everyone's open source projects there. These are like huge libraries of code available for you. Not everyone will be participating in Hacktoberfest. Only those which are participating, you have to make a contribution to be eligible, to be considered to be participating in it. But how do you participate? So you make a contribution, and then maintainers must accept your pull request or merge request. Basically, you made a change in that project, and then you ask, hey maintainer, the person who created the project or is maintaining it, you ask them, hey, will you accept my submission? It's like asking for a review, and they're like, if it is okay, they'll give you a thumbs up and they'll merge that, and it counts as a contribution. Now this is where the fun begins. The first 50,000 participant, the first ones who create that contribution, will have a tree planted in their name. That is very cool. I like that. What that means is if you are one of the first 50,000 who made contribution to Hacktoberfest participating projects, a tree will be planted by DigitalOcean in your name. And at the same time, if you are able to make 4 contributions in this month, you will receive a unique digital swag. What is that digital swag? I think we have that later on here, but consider this as a certificate or a proof that you have participated in Hacktoberfest, and that something that you can flex on your resume or your LinkedIn profile, or as a proof that you have got started with open source and you can call yourself an open source contributor. If you're a beginner, yes, we have a couple of resources: how to use Git, what is open source, and all this stuff, like introduction to GitHub and open source projects. If you want to sharpen your skills, yes, we have got a couple of manuals. If you want to start contributing, now this is where things get interesting. I'm going to open this link and see what happens. So it takes me to github.com with the topic of Hacktoberfest. Now, if you see this, all of these repositories here are participating in Hacktoberfest. So all of these are filtered with Hacktoberfest. And let me go and pick a random one. All right, let me go pick this one. And I'm going here and well, how do I contribute to this? This is huge, right? And that's a challenge. The best way to contribute is, first, I'll go to the issues and see what other people are facing, or maybe the maintainers are facing some issues here. So I click on these issues and I go down. There's so many issues, right? Like so many issues are right there. That's good. That's great. Okay. We have this and that. How do I know which issue is for me? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to something called labels here. And I'm going to search Hacktoberfest. Now this will filter out all the issues which are meant for Hacktoberfest. It turns out there are no open issues, but I can see 51 closed issues. So let's check it out. So I'm going to click on closed. And I can see there are people who have solved these issues which were for Hacktoberfest. And I can see something interesting. Check this out. It says good first issue. And if I highlight this, it says this issue is really good for beginners. So if you are exploring all the repositories, checking out how do I make contribution, look for this tag. And it says docs. That means it's a documentation and it's participating in Hacktoberfest. So if I open this issue just to learn how contribution works, I can see, oh, okay, they have given that the expected behavior is this, and this is the current behavior of the problem. They have mentioned all the steps. I'm gonna go down. I see some conversations. I read through it. I understand how the project maintainers work. And what I do down is I see there should be a pull request. There you go. So this issue was fixed by a pull request 23321. Pull requests are basically changes that you are requesting to be done in a project. Basically, you are contributing, and you do that by asking this thing should be changed. In this case, oh, there is something changing by default, and you want the documentation says it's false, so they're changing the documentation. So if I go to the pull request, the changes that the contributor has asked, and the pull request shows me the files they have changed and the conversations they had while that was being changed. So I can see there are 12 files changed here. And if I wait for it, and I can see they're like, oh, this is what they have changed. And I can understand these are the things I need to do, or someone has done in a different project to contribute. Now this is a bit overwhelming, but also remember it's today is what date we have, it's 8th of, so it's already a week later. And let's see, this issue was created August 12 and was fixed in October. Yeah, this is a very old issue, and someone tried to work on it during Hacktoberfest, right? So, oh, this is an old Hacktoberfest event. Oh, this is a old one. I can see that. So it can take time for you to contribute to a issue or a project. So what I will do, and what should you also do if you feel this is very overwhelming for you, is just go back and look for new repos. So I'm gonna go to another repo, check out their issues, see which one is open and which one is for me, and then I'll see if this is something I can work on. Or if I go back to the website, I just clicked on the first link, right? You can see there are other links. There's like up for grabs, or let's check this out. Hacktoberfest projects on Vercel. Someone created this. So if I go here, there you go. Someone has created a website which filters Hacktoberfest projects for you. Let's do JavaScript. You know what? Let's do Python. I use Python. It's been a while. We're using JavaScript. So all of these, okay, Python, these are repositories which uses Hacktoberfest and uses Python language. So I can go to any one of them. I can go to issues. And let's search for Hacktoberfest. Oh, there was one, but it is closed. Someone has taken it. When it means close or assign, it means someone has taken that issue. So what I'll do, I'll just go back and look for another project which has issues, but it is open and no one has taken it. Now, I have been talking from a beginner point of view or a contributor point of view of someone who is, who's looking for a project to contribute, right? Now, what if you're a maintainer? What if you already have your project? Could be a personal project. Let me go ahead and pick one of my old projects. All right, let me go to my repositories. And let's see, I can let's pick this one, slide decks. All right. So I created this. This is my project. It's basically a compilation of all my slides. You know what? Maybe I want contributors to make this better so it can be more reusable, so everyone can use it and not just me. So what I do, as a maintainer of this project, I can create my own label. So if I go to labels and let's see if I can create a new label here. So if I type Hacktoberfest, wait. Oh, can't create labels this way, so I have to click here. Yeah, there you go. So if I click on labels, I can create a new label right here, and I'm going to call it Hacktoberfest. And in the description, I have to link the website, right? Hacktober. So if you see other folks, they have issues candidate for Hacktoberfest, or it has to be linked as hacktoberfest.com. So I'm gonna link it hacktoberfest.com, and let's change the color. This is fine, and create this label. By adding this label, and now if I create an issue which has this label, it will now participate in Hacktoberfest. All right. So if I create a not a new label, instead a new issue, or someone creates a new issue, either way it works. It's a maintainer or a contributor. I'm gonna go ahead and I see improve. Oops. Let's call it improve readme documentation. Context would be the readme documentation could be more generic for reusability. Basically, I'm asking it to be made a template so everyone else can use my slide decks template and create their own slide decks. Now, what is important is I add the Hacktoberfest label, so now it is participating in Hacktoberfest. So if I submit this issue, it will now show up in websites like these, which will filter Hacktoberfest issues, and someone who's participating can check out the issue and then check out the repository. If this is easy or if this is something they want to do, they can now participate in it. Yes, there are some rules of how you participate in Hacktoberfest. If I go scroll down in this website again, there are some things you should totally not do. Is your PM must be within the dates. That means if you do it too early, before Hacktoberfest started or after October 31st, they will not be considered as part of Hacktoberfest. Although it's good, it's fine to like continue contributing to Hacktoberfest or open source. You can totally do that, and we can talk about that more, but you have a month to do that. Apart from that, repos that goes against the Hacktoberfest values won't count. That means, it has to be inclusive and safe. It can't be like, if you have personal data in that repository, or if you're like just doing something illegal, don't do that, and don't participate in Hacktoberfest if you're doing that. One of my favorite. This is the most important one. Don't create spammy PRs. By spammy PRs means you change. One of the common things that I have seen, and you might have seen too, is contributors, or there are PRs where there's just a single line change and you call it a Hacktoberfest. For example, here, let's say I want to contribute to this, right? So I say, hey, I want to contribute to this. So what I do, I say, hey, I want to contribute to your project. Can you assign this to me? I'm talking to myself, I know. And I say sure, and what I'll do, me as a maintainer will assign this to this person who has asked. So yes, this has been assigned, and now this person who has been assigned will make some changes. Now in general, they should be doing what the issue says, like make it better or try your best, right? But what happens in reality is this person would go, let's see, they will just make something like, so I'm gonna open this in an editor, and they will just add like a line. I just added a line and commit change. So create a new branch, and let's call it issue 1 or Hacktoberfest. All right. I did not add any message. I did not add a lot of information in the PR. Let's see how. So this is how they submit. Okay, this is what it means to be a spammy PR. So I'm gonna create this pull request. This is me talking as a contributor. Now flipping back as Ashwin, the maintainer of this project, I open this PR. I see this in the here request. If I go here, I get an email or something like that, and I see, oh wow, Ashwin has contributed, and I open this. And what I see is, one, there is no description. I don't know what's happening in this PR, what changes you are doing. I don't know what problem you're solving. What issue is this? Here, I have one issue, I get it. But here, I have 18 issues. Or if I open something like a Python, thousands of issues. How do I know which issue are you solving? So that person has not mentioned it. And worse, if I go and click on files changed, It's just, they have just added a single line. That's not a contribution. That's a spam. And that is what they mean by a spammy PR. So if I go here, read this again, these PRs are spam. And what I do is, whoops, once I see as a maintainer, I will mark them as spam. So if I mark them as spam, if I go to conversation and I'm like, nah, Ashwin, this is a spam. If I mark this as a spam, create new label spam. Let's make it red. Once I mark it as a spam, this PR, this will now not be considered as a submission to Hacktoberfest. So you want to be careful that your repository does not be marked spam. Don't do like non-meaningful submissions like this. This is not meaningful. How can I make it more meaningful? Well, back as the contributor Ashwin. So I go back to the issue, or yeah, let's see. All right, if I can also like be smart. I can say this PR closes. If I type hash, I can see the issue number. So that's #2. #2 is improve readme documentation that we were talking about. So this PR closes this. Now I have some context, right? I have some context that if I read in this, oh yeah, this PR is solving this problem. At the same time, it's automatically linking the two things. So if maintainer merges this, it will automatically close this. Or if I open the issue, I can see this has been mentioned here. So I can see someone is working on this. Little bit of context. To add more, you can add more context here, more description, and definitely make some changes, right? So be careful not to make spammy PRs as they will not be considered. Apart from that, let's see. So if I go here, let's see what next we have. Your PR must be in a repo tagged with Hacktoberfest topic or label. So that means if you're contributing to some repo which does not have that label, it will not be considered. So make sure you're looking for that. So my issues are labeled, but my repository is not. Let me go ahead and add that label. So if I go probably in about, yeah, topic, Hacktoberfest. And now it will be considered as officially Hacktoberfest repository. PR must not be labeled as invalid, or they have to be merged. Yes, they have to be merged, or like need to be approved, or at least merged to be considered. So even if that open PR is not considered a submission to Hacktoberfest, because they have to be approved and merged. And yes, if it's like a huge repository like Python, there can be tests. Maintainers can take time. So to make sure that we verify, the Hacktoberfest team verifies your submission, it takes 7 days from like when you have merged your pull request, you have made the contribution, for it to show up on Hacktoberfest that yes, you have made a contribution. After 7 days, your PR will be automatically accepted, and even if it like you submit on 31st, by 7th of next month, it will still be accepted. So you can make contributions till the end of the month. Yes, there have been some measures this year to reduce spam. I just mentioned those. Maintainers can mark them as spam. Your PRs or bad repositories can be excluded, which has personal information or anything like that, or something that is like, it's fun to have, but you need to know like what's a safe and healthy contribution or a repository. Yes, avoid submitting low quality pull request. These are some tips what makes a low quality ones, like automated PRs or spammy ones, or taking someone else's contribution. Don't do that. That's not cool. So yeah, try to make quality submissions. Now, quality submission does not mean like it's high quality. It's like 10 different programming languages. It just means you're solving the problem. That's it. It can totally be a documentation. It can totally be you don't have idea about that project. As long as it's solving a problem, that's great. Couple of the steps that I did is here. The label is different. Oops, it's Hacktoberfest accepted this year. So let me go ahead, change that. So these are, if you're a maintainer, you need to do these to your repositories. You need to have a contributing MD file. Oops. That's my Alexa doing it for no reason. All right. There's some more information here on how you can contribute without coding. What I was talking was documentation is just one of them. There are so many different ways you can contribute without being involved in coding right here. Got writing, translating. You can organize events totally like this one. Adarsh is doing, that's contribution to Hacktoberfest without coding or making non-code contribution. You can host podcasts, do social media, blog posts. Totally, that's all considered a contribution. Awesome. So a couple of FAQs we got right here. Go through them. Happy to answer any of your questions you have in the chat. But yeah, so let's go and get into action. Let's see what happens if I click on start hacking that I was talking in the beginning. So if I click start hacking, it will ask me my GitHub or GitLab account. So I chose GitHub. Once I do that, it takes me to this page. So it's telling me, oh yeah, hello Ashiwin Kumar. Yes, this is my stuff. What am I? I'm a maintainer here, or I'm also a contributor. And yes, I have some experience. I can do both. And am I a student? No, not many more. Am I interested in AI? Yeah, I'm interested in AI. Which of the following describes my role? Well, let's say, do we have lots of options? Let's put it other for now. Let's put it India. This is all fine. Okay, let's agree to the rules, and this is how I register for Hacktoberfest. I'm gonna wait for a second. Yes, I got my profile ready, and you can see it says right here 0 out of 4. That means I have to make 4 contributions. Even if I make contribution right now on this stream, it won't show up. It will take 7 days to show up here. All right. So it says yes, I have not made any contribution. Once I do that, I get a pretty cool badge here, which is like the digital swag that I can share everywhere. So yeah, that is about Hacktoberfest. And if I go, oops, let's see if we have anything else. Nope. Make sure you're having fun. This is a super important part. I know some people you can take it as a healthy competition. Compete with your friend who makes the first 4 pull request, first 4 contributions fast. But it's also about having fun, having a great time, exploring new projects, meeting new maintainers or collaborators, networking with them, and anything in between. It's a healthy fest, as I say, as it's called. But don't hesitate to ask questions in issues or repositories. Don't hesitate to ask, how can I get started, or how do I contribute? That those are really good questions, meaningful questions, and maintainers are happy to answer them. And make sure you're having fun. Yeah. So if you have any questions, happy to take them up now.
Thanks a lot, Ashwin, for this beautiful intro. I am pretty sure all the questions must have been answered, but I have loaded a Google form earlier and we have received quite a few questions. So we'll take as many questions as the time permit, and let me just know when you're done so that we can stop.
Yeah, I think we can take those questions now.
Sure. Then, hey everyone, who's ever in the chat, send questions if you want. We'll take them right now. Till then, I'll just take some questions from the Google Forms. So, cool. We have received some quite good questions, and this is one of them. I really like these questions, and I want your opinion on this because this person want to contribute in a real project, but every real project has 10 people fighting to do the same issue, to mostly the beginner issue. So, what do you think they should do in such situations?
Okay, first of all, I want to know the definition of real. What is real for you? What are you trying to say? Like, the project that I say is not real. I mean, it's real to me. If it's not useful for you, is it real for you? So you want to start by defining what that real term means. The right way to ask that question yourself is, what is a good project that I want to contribute? If contributing to Python, which is like can be overwhelming, is very difficult, start by smaller projects. Or if smaller projects are easy for you, take it up a notch. You can totally explore. Yes, there are more people uh, chasing for issues. Yes, what you haven't realized is no one can chase an issue if that does not exist. So if you find a problem in a project, you can go explore that project. It's not about solving issues, right? The purpose is exploring open source. So if you're opening a project without understanding it, maybe you're not doing it the right way. So go open that project, see how it works. Maybe you will find something wrong. Hey, why is this thing here? Or why is the documentation saying X while Y is happening? That's a issue. Or I don't understand what's happening here while documentation said it was supposed to be easy. That's an issue. That's something worth talking about. Create an issue. You can create new issues and you can ask, hey, maintainers, I found this. Do you think it's worth trying out? Or can you add Hacktoberfest labels? You can add it to yourself too. But in my opinion, one of some of the best good first issues are the ones that you created. In fact, good first issues don't exist in general. What is good for you may not be for me. What is good first issue for me may not be same for you. So good first issues come when you create them, the moment you create them. And when you create them, you get to own them. So you don't have to wait for open issues to get assigned. So if you are in that state where you cannot find issues, see if you can explore the project and create your own issues.
That was spot on, I must say. Kaivalya has mentioned something. Don't go for shining object projects like React.js and stuff. I totally agree with that. You can start with the good first issues, as Ashwin mentioned. Uh, I'm really sorry. Yeah. So about exploring, you mentioned exploring. The uh, repositories and just seeing how can you contribute and just just like exploring new things. So I have a question that has been asked to me quite a lot of times, and even in this Google form, it's been asked a lot of times. So I'll just take that. Yeah, this one. As a beginner, I have been spending a lot of time just exploring the projects to contributing, and it is really tedious. How do I tackle this?
So there's something called a pie-shaped learning graph. You know what's pie? Not the pie that you eat. The pie symbol 3.14. It's like a horizontal line and then like two verticals. Uh, it's a framework for learning. What it means is you try to learn something about everything, and then you try to get expertise in two stuff like really good. Same for T-shaped learning. It's like you try to learn something about everything, and then you go deep down in a very good in a single domain. Uh, the good part about exploring is you get to know stuff. The bad part is you get to know stuff again. It can be overwhelming, and you can fall that tutorial hell where you just keep exploring and you cannot figure out. I would recommend once you have explored 4 to 5 projects, pick one. Just go all in until you face a blocker that you cannot go back. Like, this is where I cannot understand what's happening and I cannot get help, I cannot Google, I cannot find answers. And that's when you go back and try something else. But until then, you go all in. You pick a project, you try to understand your best. Don't give up so easily, don't give up so early. Uh, Most of the answers are in the documentation. If not, there are maintainers to answer it. If not, someone has already answered it in some issue, the closed issues that I showed you, or in Stack Overflow. And even then, if you cannot find the answers or figure out an answer yourself, that's when you see, oh, let's move on to another project. So I would recommend only explore a few projects and pick one or two of them and go deep down before really like jumping from one project to another. Otherwise, it can tire you faster. Yes, sometimes when I started Hacktoberfest, I was looking only for like beginner first issues. The problem with that was one, it never helped me step out of my comfort zone because all of them were of my level that I could understand. So only when I picked one project, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pick this exact one project that I have known about, and then I'm going to try like understand everything in you, even if I can't contribute to it back then. Now I'm so glad that I tried because now I understand the project. That's the purpose. You try to get the flow of how open source contribution works. This is how they work. You understand a project, you learn from the past conversations, you try to make a PR, it gets closed, it does not work. You are getting the essence of how open source contributions work by Hacktoberfest. The purpose, the goal is not finding the right project. The goal is how do we teach you to find your project that you want, or how teaching you how to navigate rather than reaching the goals. So that's the purpose here.
Great advice, Ashwin. I really appreciate. I really like that advice, to be honest. Because for me as well, it was like I used to jump from project to project, and now I've been focusing on one project. And even though I'm, getting a few setbacks, my issues may get closed, and I'm not able to solve a particular issue, but I'm just getting the hang of it, and I believe I'll be solving at least 4 issues till the end of the Hacktoberfest to get that digital swag, because I really like that. Another question I had was this one, because as you said, you will get help from somewhere or the other. So this question showed up. The project maintainers seem to be pretty busy, and I'm stuck with the issues. Where do I get help from?
Yeah, that's a really good one. One of the best way to check that out is look at the past issues and closed ones. When was the issue was opened? When was the PR created, and when was it merged? If the difference is like months and years, that's a red flag. Like, oh, this project is moving slowly. You want to be careful, or maybe just try another one. Or check out the conversations, how often they happen. Uh, a lot of time, if you're new, you don't check these and you just think like, oh, it's an open issue. No one is checking it out. So you want to check out from the past conversation how the maintainers are active or not. Yes, pinging them once helps. It's fine, but not too often. Don't do that. And not all maintainers are free and they're busy. This is understandable. Sometimes it's just when you're picking projects, especially in that phase, you want to check out how active is the project.
Makes sense. That actually makes sense. Now, this question, I really relate to this, because even last year and even this year, I have been struggling to answer this question for myself, and I would like you to just give us some perspective on this. What should be my goal for Hacktoberfest?
That's such a nice question. Um, I would say have fun. That is super important. No matter what you are, if you're having fun, you will come back and you will get back more. Yes, making contributions, merging those pull requests can be a mini goal for the next 7 days, and in the next 14 days could be finding maintainers or networking with them or finding some cool projects. Really good goals, but make sure you're having fun while you're participating in open source. And if I were in that place, if I were asking this question, I would say, how can I get better at contributing to open source? So, writing better PRs, or creating meaningful issues, or not making spammy requests, or understanding how remote work was. These small things, these are like very, very tiny ethics or habits. If you can build them, that's a really, really good outcome of Hacktoberfest. It's a really good goal because you get prepared for how remote works or how you can communicate asynchronously, which ends up helping you in career anyway. So, in my opinion, yes, have fun, but see if you can try something new, push yourself a little bit. You don't know programming language, go for it, but see if you can learn something new this Hacktoberfest.
Yeah, that's going to be my goal, organizing this event. Now, Anurag in the chat asks some common mistakes every beginner makes.
Some common mistakes that beginner makes. They ask, how do I contribute? They ask, where do I contribute? And they ask, what's a good first issue? I answered the third one already, but the first two, just open Google and search it. Yes, you're asking me, but I will then tell you the issues that I feel are easy or are good for beginners, not for you. So exploration helps. Again, when you're exploring, don't get lost. Explore a little bit and take a deep dive. Uh, don't hesitate to ask. Definitely read before you ask. Do your research, read the documentation, understand a project. If you can't find the answer anywhere, where it's not recorded anywhere in any form, ask. Don't hesitate to ask. There's no dumb questions, there are no bad questions. How do I don't understand this project is a good question. If you feel like you're a beginner in a crowd of experts, you don't have to feel underwhelmed. You are adding a lot of value because you're seeing that project from a very fresh pair of eyes, from a specific perspective. You can add a lot of value. You can say, hey, this documentation is overwhelming, I can't understand that, and the maintainers who's experienced will think of it, how we can make it more easy to understand for beginners too. And that's where it starts the cycle of contributions again. So don't hesitate to ask in the community or when you're making contributions, and definitely just get started. That's more important. It's the difficult part is getting started. It's easy if you do it with friends. It's easy if you're doing it as part of a challenge, or as part of a series, or a cause, or a event. So speaking of events, I did not show you, but if you go to hacktoberfest.com, let's see if I can show you again. This is a really good one because super important. Da-da-da. Adarsh, if you can bring back my screen. Thank you so much. So if I go here, super event, you can see there's this events right here, right? Now this is where awesome things happen. So the global events are happening across, and now I can see all of them. So if I click on view all events, all of these events, pick any one, all right, and participate in them. Like one happening in Bay Area, this is like in person, and then there is like GDSC, and then there is so many events. This one is digital. This one is, oh wow, so many events. Digital. We got so many events. Participating in any one of them. Any one of them. These are like beginner friendly. These are like depending on, this one was like Dev Java girls if you're into Java, and then there's so many awesome events, right? So go ahead, join them, and this is a really good motivation for you to get started.
Yeah, and like one golden advice you gave is, if you think like if you have not searched for it on Google, then just go ahead and Google it. And if you don't find the answer there, you can definitely come in communities and ask them. And we have some really good answers in the chat as well from Shivang and Pranav. So if you ask this question, then definitely check out the chat. I really love those answers. Now I'll take some non Hacktoberfest questions, because as you're here, you have a lot of people who want to ask you questions. Just try to answer them quickly, and then we'll try to wrap up the session as fast as we can. And the first question is, when will be the application window for next GitHub Octantship open?
You will have to keep an eye on dashboard for that. Just go to the global campus. I know it is out of context and I don't wanna spoil anything. So keep an eye. Participate in Hacktoberfest. That is one really good way to get eligible for the program.
Okay, great. I'll keep an eye on my dashboard as well. Now, other is, can students do the GitHub certification program, which is going to be announced at GitHub Universe?
I'm not sure, but I think if you read the announcement, let me see if I can grab the. So that for that you will have to wait till universe, because I don't want you folks to get distracted from Hacktoberfest. Yes, certifications are great, but for certifications, first you need to make some contribution and get that experience. So let me go ahead and see if you can share this with everyone. You can join the waitlist. There is a waitlist. Once the universe in the universe, after the universe, you will see if you can get part of that certification too. All right.
That's great. That's great. Now we'll stop taking the questions because we are on limit. I'll just quickly introduce what is Open Spectrum, and if you guys don't know, then let me just close. Yeah, if you don't know, then this is the first session of Open Spectrum, and Open Spectrum is a 22-day tech celebration highlighting the diversity of open source, featuring events by guest speakers, project maintainers, and community calls. So it is organized by me, and it's organized on the behalf of WeMakeDevs. It's basically a 3-week event, and throughout the week we will be having various guest sessions. Like Ashwin is giving one right now. We'll also be calling some maintainers and all. So yeah, let's see what it is. And before even explaining that what it is, I just want to tell who is this event organized for. And to be honest, like even the people who are pretty experienced can take part in this, but I would say people who are beginner to intermediate level can take part in this, because it's going to have some really good guest sessions and really good maintainer sessions. And if you're a beginner, then you don't want to miss the community calls, because I believe there are going to be a lot of people in the community calls. So this is for anyone who wants to get started in Hacktoberfest. We're going to have beginner friendly sessions, as well as some advanced kind of concepts. Uh, Other than that, what does it include? So it's a 3 week event, and each week there will be 3 sessions. So one will be a guest speaker session, where we'll be inviting a guest speaker such as Ashwin today. And they'll be expert in their field, and they'll just introduce you about their domain and Hacktoberfest at the same time. And for example, suppose it's web dev, so the speaker will introduce you how web dev and open source go hand in hand, and how can you benefit in your web dev career with the help of Hacktoberfest. Other than that, we are also going to have maintainer sessions. So we'll be inviting maintainers of some really good projects that people use in their daily life, and the maintainers will explain what they want from contributors. How can someone participate in their project, what should be the perfect roadmap kind of thing, how should one navigate their project, and not just their project, but the projects in general. So there will be different kind of different maintainers from different domains, and they'll be explaining how can you get started in Hacktoberfest and contributing to their project. Other than that, the last but not the least, each Sunday there will be community calls. And in community calls, it will happen on the WeMakeDevs Discord server. There won't be any guest speakers or anything. It will be me and Siddhant Kishti. And we'll just, having a chit chat. And you can come there, you can share progress, and you can make the most out of it by connecting with people. You can even demo the projects you're building or you're working on. So that is a really good thing I like. How to make the most out of it? To make the most out of this event, first of all, share your profile and share your work with everyone who's participating. This is the most important, because if you're not going to put your work out there, put your contributions out there, no one is going to know. So go ahead and share your profile, share your work, and just let everyone know what are you working on and what are you contributing to. Other than that, participate in community calls. I cannot emphasize this on more. If you want to make the most out of this event, then participate in community calls. Come here, let's chat, and let's just discuss what's happening in the tech world, what's happening with you and stuff. And last but not the least, you can write blogs and threads explaining what you learned from these sessions. It'll be uh, it'd be kind of learning in public. So you will just tell everyone what you have been learning these days and what you learned from these sessions. So you can do all of that. And before going on to the next slide, I just want to ask Ashwin, what are your perspective on how can a beginner can make the most out of such events, not just this one in particular, but any event.
Oh, I think I would say in 2 lines is learn what you build and share what you learned. So yes, you learned something today. Are you building something out of it? Like after this session, are you checking out Hacktoberfest or just not? That matters. And second is super important is share what you have learned. Even if you feel like you have learned very little, or if you feel like you've just learned about what Hacktoberfest is, it's huge. If you share it with others, you share like, hey, I learned this thing today and it's pretty cool. One, you get your personal branding, yes. And second, you start this cycle of creating a community. You create this mentorship cycle. Even if you don't know a little, you are self helping someone who does not know anything at all. So definitely share what you are learning in your entire Hacktoberfest or open source journey. I like creating blogs or talking or creating YouTube videos. It helps, but you don't have to do that. A simple tweet or just going to a friends tomorrow and telling them over lunch. Anything works. But it's important that you're sharing what you have learned. So that's how you grow in open source.
Yeah, I'm literally going to quote you on that. Build what you learn and share what you build. It's really a great advice. So yeah, for everyone listening to this, just build what you learn and share what you build. You can make the most out of this event and any event in general. So how to connect with us? All the announcement of this event, Open Spectrum, is going to happen on WeMakeDevs Twitter. So you can go ahead and follow WeMakeDevs Twitter. You can all the sessions will happen on the WeMakeDevs YouTube channel. You're watching the channel you're watching on this video right now. So you can go ahead and subscribe to it and turn on the bell notification. Like, it's not even compulsory. You can just click on links and go there. All the community calls, and if you want any help, that will be available on we make devs Discord server. So you can go ahead and join that Discord server. You can tag me and just ask for any help. And other than that, community calls are going to happen there every Sunday during this month for the next 3 weeks. So you can go ahead and do that. And if you want to see the schedule and other stuff, in general, then you can go on to my uh, GitHub link, inclined Adarsh slash open spectrum. And I've not built it yet, but you can just start it, and I'll be building it after the session or in a couple of days. So you can see all the schedule there, and you can get all the quotes from Ashwin. So yeah, this is all you can get. Other than that, do tune in for our next event, that is elevate your web development skills with Hacktoberfest. It's going to be I'm going to host it again, and it's going to be Praveen Kumar. He's an open source enthusiast, and we're going to talk about how you can elevate your web development skills with Hacktoberfest. So that was all about Open Spectrum, and let me know if you want to join. Uh, you can go ahead and just search for WeMakeDevs Twitter, and you can literally get all the links from there. But I'm pretty sure everyone will have a lot of questions even after that stream. And actually, I have a lot of questions right in front of me. But as you know, 1 hour has already came to an end. So I'd like to just ask Ashwin where we can find him and ask him questions if you have any for him.
Uh, Twitter is the best place. Let me drop my. So what I recommend is ask in public. If you can, like, ask a question and tag me on Twitter. What you're doing is we're having this public conversation on open source and anything, unless it's sensitive. So if it's not, uh, others who have the same questions are can learn from our conversation. So ask a question, tag me, so I can answer it. But it will also be easy for others who have the same question, because it's weird for me to answer 3 DMs and they're all like, how do I start with Hacktoberfest? uh, Whether if you just ask in a single tweet, others can see, oh, it's already answered and they got that covered. So feel free to connect me over Twitter, but I highly recommend asking in public. It helps others to learn from conversations.
Yeah, so if you have any more questions for Ashwin, you can tag him in a tweet and just ask the question. That will help not just you but others as well. If you want to find me, you can find me on my Twitter, twitter.com/inclined_others. I'll drop the link as well. And if you want to have a chat with me, then you can come here, like come in my community, bios community, and we can have a chat there. You can even tag me in WeMakeDevs, and we can have a chat there. I'm literally everywhere, I believe. So I'm always eager to answer your questions and all. So yeah, 1 hour has already came to an end, and Ashwin has a lot of work to do as well. So we won't take a lot of his time, and I just want to thank Ashwin for coming onto the stream and just guiding us through the introduction of Hacktoberfest. Any closing remarks?
Awesome.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Thank you so much for having, and happy hacking, everyone.
Great. Then we'll just close the live stream and see you in the next session, everyone. Bye bye.